Bit shoot. And pilled. You guys tell me if anybody's out there you can see. It looks like somebody's there, yeah. All right, you guys, we're back, and I don't know what capacity that we are on, but we are sitting here. I see you guys on Twitch. It looks like Rumble is going. And YouTube. There's a YouTube stream going. So, how's your picture looking for us, Outcast? Is it okay?
Now it's all glitchy again, but whatever.
Oh, wow.
Weird.
Well, it's trying to go back to pilled, to pilled. It won't link back up to pilled. Wait, yeah, it did. It looks like it did. So very annoying.
So now we're back up?
Looks like it, yeah. Yeah, at least YouTube and yeah, people can see us. Is that Ian Irwin? It's working on YouTube. Yeah. Shelly Pollock says we're back. So, okay, yeah, I see YouTube up there. Oh, man. What a crazy night, Outcast. This is... All right, it looks like we got to wait for people to come back in. So okay. I'm going to keep checking the streams. If you want to talk about... Oh, where are we? There's got to be a live stream of us somewhere on Rumble. Do you want to bring up this groceries thing that we were talking about?
It's interesting. It got my attention, and it might be confirmation bias. I don't know, but it's got me. So recently, I was sharing stories about, like even atheists say that we're living in a simulation, right?
Yeah.
But I think a simulation could be something that's orchestrated by God too. So I don't think you have to be an atheist to believe that we're living in some sort of simulation. Mm-hmm. This physical form is a simulation. And I have these, I know I'm not the only one because Slasher Dave was telling me he has it too. You have it. We bring up something or something happens and it happens as a theme throughout the day. I've mentioned it many times on this show throughout the years. It happened to me just the other day. I was having a conversation with one of my bosses who lives in California. Mm-hmm. And I'm listening to her talk in my ear. And I'm okay, yeah, driving. And I decided to go visit a doctor that I call on, who I don't see very often because he just doesn't buy very much. And I thought, well, I need to check in on him. While I'm listening to my boss talk to me, I'm going to drive over there. As I pull into the parking lot, she says, "Do you call on such and such eye care?" And I'm like, she goes, "Doctor," and she says the doctor's name. I go, I just pulled up in his parking lot.
Whoa.
She lives in California. And I'm like, and how do you know this guy? And she goes, "Well, I was part of this eye doctor's program. And I met him several years ago and I knew he's from Michigan. So I just thought I'd ask." I go, "I just pulled up in his in his parking lot, just as you said that."
That's crazy.
Dude,
how often that's been happening to us, people that we know or us ourselves, you know what I mean? Wow. That's nuts, you guys. I wonder if it's happened to other people too, because it seems like it can go months without anything like that coming up or happening. And then all of a sudden, within a span of 3-4 days, boom, 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 a lot of this, what's the word called? It's not coincidence. That's not the right word.
It's very Truman Show.
It is straight up Truman Show stuff. Jack Pine Savage is saying, I think we need a prayer too. But yeah, when we were off, you guys, Outcast was doing a prayer while I was trying to get us hooked back up. So you guys didn't see it, but it got recorded for the audio. So I'm going to have to do some stitching together tonight. This is not good radio. This is not good radio. So we are back on everything. I don't understand what happened, how we got booted, but it looks like everybody's here.
Wow. Thanks for everybody's diligence to jump back on. We appreciate you very much.
Yeah.
Saved by Grace Through Faith says synchronicity. Yeah.
Yeah. That's I'll take it.
So anyway, so I'm very high alert about this. There's one other thing too. For a while, I felt like I drive on the expressways all the time. I was constantly being tailgated by white pickup trucks.
Okay.
And I was like, and I made a joke out of it with my wife. I'm like, what is up with the white pickup trucks? Always hassling me on the road, And then it switched to black pickup trucks. And everywhere I've been for the last week, I'm being tailgated by I look at my rearview mirror. I'm like, it's a black pickup truck.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I drive the white pickup trucks. and
Okay.
and I don't know if that has anything to do with any of this stuff, but it's just another strange occurrence.
So I was having this conversation with somebody. It might have been Slasher Dave, somebody like that, and they said, "Well, you ever heard the groceries analogy?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They said, "Well, have you ever noticed that you never see anybody taking groceries into their from their car into their house?"
Hmm.
And I was
Yeah.
like, and I live on a corner lot, and I can see all around I see all the corners. I can see out my back window to that corner section. I never see my neighbors bringing in groceries. So it's like, now once again, maybe confirmation bias, but I'm like, that is weird. What is up with that? I'm coming in all the time, hauling groceries in, with bags, getting out of my car. I've never seen my neighbors do it.
Yeah.
Is it just that they're doing it a different time? I don't know. It's just funny to
Well,
consider. It's funny.
I'll tell you what, the so you asked me that earlier today, and I said, all right, let me play a little bit of devil's advocate here. I know that for me, I don't see people taking groceries in, but a lot of people drive into their garages. So I don't see it, when but I tell you what I do see all the time still right now in 2026, I see a lot of Kroger delivery vehicles dropping off food at people's porches.
I've
That's
seen
weird.
that too, I guess, now that you mention it. Sure.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that's a weird
Huh.
thing. I mean, I've seen it here before. My wife, she'll, order some things and be dropped off, but I guess that's fine. Right. You got to be careful on what you're ordering though, because, if you're going to leave it up to them to order, to pick out the avocados or your oranges or stuff like that, you might not want them picking that stuff out. I guess box stuff and canned stuff would be fine. And, it's, I don't know. It's crazy. Seems like when we try to order avocado through that delivery system, there's a bunch of them that just will not make it intact. They'll come in either all, what do you call it? They'll come in bumped and bruised and battered and everything and beat all up. So, Outcast. Yeah. Evan says, this is why I'm glad I live in a relatively white trash neighborhood. I always see the groceries taken in and out, DoorDash deliveries. Yeah, I get it. Listen, Outcast, our surprise guest has shown up in this crazy broadcast here tonight. So I'm hoping everybody stays intact here. I'm going to switch over here just a minute, Outcast, and we're going to let's bring it over right now. Yeah, Pastor Nelly. Nelly, what's going on, brother? From the Dancing Toaster.
What's going on, guys? It's so good to be back on with you guys.
Oh, man, it's been a
great to see
while,
you.
right? Yeah, good to see you, brother. It's been a while since we talked. I mean, we've been texting for a while, and then we fell off. I don't know, but it's good to see you and Outcast got together today and made this happen, so I'm glad. We just had some technical difficulties, but we're back with you, brother. How you been?
Man, I'm hanging in there. Things are nuts, man. Things are wild. They're wild in Washington. They're wild in this country. They're wild around the world. I'm some days hanging on by a thread, if I'm being honest. But I'm so glad to be back on with you guys. It has been a while. Life is lifing, but I was really, it was really cool hearing from Outcast today, and he was like, "Is there any chance?" And I was like, "Well." It'll be tough, but I really want to. So let's try. Let's try and reconnect. So I'm glad we did, and hopefully the quality is okay on my end. My laptop crept out on me, so I'm using my phone. So let's
It
hope
looks
it
good.
works.
Yeah, I thought it was on your computer. It looks good. Yeah, it's still. I see daylight
cool.
there. It looks nice in daylight there. So, yeah, welcome to the show, Outcast.
Yeah, 5 o'clock my time.
Yeah, no, it's just turned 8 o'clock here. It's just about dark here. Yeah, we're getting low. Go ahead, Outcast.
Well, Pastor Nelly and I didn't talk about it in the same context. So hopefully I'm not putting words into our conversation's mouth, but I want to say this. God has been putting you on my heart lately, Pastor Nelly. And I think that's why when we started talking back and forth, I think you reached out to me first. I was so glad that you did because I'd been thinking about you. And we didn't go deep, but we kind of discussed the state of the world and how the right-left paradigm is making us nuts. And, seeing people fall into those right paradigms is making us nuts. And we see such a bigger picture. It's hard to keep your sanity when everybody else is gaslighting you with their mainstream nonsense. I mean, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but that's kind of what I think we were both on the same page. And I just sensed, man, we're all feeling, frayed at the edges. And when you were eager to come on again, I thought, okay, he's got something to say. He's got stuff on his mind. So you're welcome to just have the floor and discuss anything that's on your mind, brother, because I sense that your heart is heavy with what's going on in the world, and you've got things to say. And we may agree, we may not, who knows, but we love you as a brother in Christ, and we're here to hash it out.
Man, well, thank you so much for that. And you guys, it is wild because you guys have been heavy on my heart too. And I just recently, I had released an episode probably like 3 weeks ago, something I totally had never done before, because everything I do on my show is heavily scripted. And I just could not focus on any of the stuff I was working on. And I wanted to just go off the script to go and just share my heart about some things, because I was incredibly just frustrated, disenfranchised, just unraveled. I like that word. It was a clickbaity title for the episode. A lot of people thought I was quitting the show because the title of the episode was "I'm done," and I was, and they thought, "Is he done with the show?" And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not quitting the show. I'm done with the left-right paradigm. I'm done with Democrats and Republicans. I'm done with." I knew for the longest time not to trust government, and I mean, stuff I talk about with some of the government conspiracy episodes. I know too much about what we've done, what we're doing. But I mean, if I bought into Charlie Kirk, gave me a lot of hope, if I'm being honest. And Charlie Kirk really made me believe in the potential of our current commander in chief. I am incredibly frustrated, betrayed. With the current administration, I mean, they are an absolute train wreck and have gone against everything they said they were ever going to do, and have gone against everything Charlie initially had supported in helping to push this administration. Because I mean, one of the reasons he won, Trump won, was because of Charlie and the incredible influence that he had. And I saw the direction everything was going, and I've just been so incredibly frustrated. And then the files, man, those files, I hate those files so much. But then at the same time, I'm grateful that a little bit of light was shed upon them, because it really just confirmed all the things that we've known, that we felt, that that some of us had seen glimpses of before. And it's just like, oh man, and I was one of those guys that bought into all of the hate towards like Candace Owens and things like that too, because of my.
All right, you guys, look, we're back, but it looks like the stream has dropped out again. We have lost, I think, all our live. I gotta go check the engine here, and we're gonna keep the show going because we have to. But this is gonna be a nightmare to put back together. Oh boy. Let's see here. Looks like YouTube is back. Twitch is back. Looks like Rumble is back. Look at that. We're back again.
Jack Fine says he's back.
Yeah, everything's just came right back again. So, all right, Nelly, let's get back to you. You had just finished talking about how you felt betrayed, and you've just you just woken up to a bunch of new information. All right.
Yes. So, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I like hearing that. I like hearing that you've been touched, or that's not the right word, brother. That you have been, your eyes have been opened, right? Something has happened where you're seeing through a new lens now. Okay. Which is awesome. I'm glad you went through it. Now you're still going through it. When people go through these things, there's almost like 5 stages of grief, right? It's very difficult because of the roller coaster ride that we go through, right? We've all been there before. Amen. Trust us. Me and Outcast did that 10, 12, 13 years ago. It's one very frustrating thing for us is when these Epstein files and these things first came out, we were looking at these things in the summer of 2016. And we're trying to tell people about this stuff, and nobody knew who Epstein was at the time. It was just in the conspiracy corners here and there, in these dark back rooms of conspiracy and all this stuff. Well, with it all coming back again, it seems like for the 3rd or 4th time now, we are seeing a lot of people are being, shaken by what's going on, and they're waking up to it. But at the same time, it's almost like Outcast, myself, we're sick of it. We're like, this is old news for us. Let's hear something new. And every time that you try to bring something new out, it ends up just going right back in their face, because it's not, when these new type of revelations come through, it's just a lot of people talking about it, but there's no real substance to it. So it's
Yeah,
there's a
no,
lot
for
of
sure.
splintering. There's a lot of splintering going on with people waking up too. Yeah, the left right paradigm, that's horrible. Two wings, same bird. Yeah, I get it. I see it. It's all a thing. So
No, for
Outcast,
sure.
yeah. You want to throw anything in there, Outcast, before we give it back to Nelly?
No, I'm gonna let. I got lots to say, but I want to let Nelly riff for a bit here
Okay.
because I know his heart is passionate. It's on fire right now. I
Yep.
got to hear what he's got to say. But I got lots of thoughts. But go ahead.
Okay.
No, I appreciate it. As far as I forgot where it had cut off, but just kind of get the train of thought going again. Feeling incredibly discouraged, disenfranchised, very betrayed.
Yeah.
And Charlie gave me a lot of hope, but he also like convinced me to trust in people I never would have otherwise trusted. Trust in a system I knew better than to trust. The left right system has been broken for a long time, but he really gave me hope that it could be fixed, that we could change it, that we fix it. That it gave me hope that that Trump was different than being an outsider. It's like no, it really wasn't. And his current behaviors and his current decisions show that he's no different than any of the other ones. And maybe if at any point he was different, he is just as compromised as all the other people that are making decisions on our behalf and getting us enthralled in things and it causing our nation to implode in on itself like a dying star. I mean, watching things unravel and being mad at myself a little bit. Like I'm like that you mentioned the 5 stages of grief. It's like something did die in me. And another analogy that I think really goes along with those 5 stages is the Matrix. Man, it was a documentary. It wasn't a sci-fi movie. It was a documentary, and we can all really identify with what that feels like because I'm feeling like Neo kind of all over again, kind of stumbling around, realizing like I really didn't want. I knew that we were in a theater, that we were in, that these systems that have been set up are all fake, that the people that we elect, we don't actually elect. I mean, we're presented the pre-approved people, that those pulling the strings behind that have already pre-selected for us, and they have their pre-approved scripts, and that a president and actually has no power really. It's the billionaires that financed him and the other, unfortunately, the other nations that have them by the stones. And so yeah, my mind was changed by Charlie, and I love him and hate him for it. No, I don't hate him. I love him to death, and God bless him. He was a blessing to my life, net positive in my life. But at the same time, he really convinced a lot of people to trust in this administration, and this administration is now spitting in his face, spitting on his memory, going in the opposite direction of everything he helped them push, which is what got my vote, which is what got a lot of people's vote. And it forced me to go back to what I knew before, but this time it just feels a little bit different because this time I'm truly done. Like I said in that episode, like I entitled it, I'm done. I'm done trusting in these systems. I'm done trusting in any of these people until some major foundational things are changed. I can't continue to participate in the theater. I refuse to. I'm withdrawing from the theater, and I'm just gonna, like a prophet out in the middle of the wilderness. Just sometimes I feel like I'm by myself here in the office, just shouting into the void. But I know I got a handful of people out there that are listening. I got some folks that they really resonated with that episode because they felt the same way. That kind of Neo when he first gets unplugged and it's all taken in all this information. I was already privy to the government corruption, the CIA stuff that we've been involved in over the years, the assassinations that weren't really they were assassinations. They just weren't done by poor saps inside of book repositories. But I knew these things, but I was like, but maybe things could be different. Maybe they could change. And it's like, no, this is bigger. This is bigger than Charlie. This is bigger than Trump. And I refused to acknowledge what was going on behind it. And like I said, some of that had to do with my theological bent. Certain views that were dangerous to hold, but we're better to discuss them than dangerous info, right? but I also upset a lot of people with my last 2 episodes because of my denominational bent. There are some within my denomination, Calvary Chapel, for those that are wondering. I'm a Calvary Chapel pastor, and there are some within Calvary Chapel movement that are obsessed with our greatest ally, and to dissent from those talking points is professionally dangerous for me to do. I'm already very alienated up here. And that kind of pushed me further away from certain people that I know and love and respect. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I can't continue to toe the party line when the evidence is so overwhelming, and when they're, when you listen to Trump the last 8 years, what a disaster Iran would be, and that we're never going to get involved, and that only an idiot would get involved. And then as soon as little BB, who's got him by the stone, says we're going to go do this, he does it. He does it, and now he's trying to sell it to all of us. But it's a diarrhea Sunday that he's asking me to drink, and I don't want it. And I'm like, no, I voted for you because I believed you. I believed Charlie that he told you Iran would be a catastrophe, and now we're watching it unfold. Because you are so highly compromised as an individual, they have so much dirt on you. That now we're all suffering because of it. And even the only thing I keep going back to that gives me any hope is, even though I was surprised by all of this, God wasn't. And my eschatological views are being revisited, and they're feeling shaken a little bit. But I'm trusting the Lord, and I'm trying to batten down the hatches, hold on to what's true, throw out what's not. But yeah, I feel like Neo in the Matrix towards the first few acts of that movie. Hopefully I won't have to be dodging bullets anytime soon, but I kind of feel like it because I found out my name was trending in our greatest ally. The week I released that episode, I looked at my name, my government name, not the name of my podcast, not my nickname, but my government name, and it was trending in a certain little nation state that loves to start crap in the Middle East. And I was shocked because somebody told me to check it out because I did that episode. They had said, "I bet you it pops up," and I'm like, what the heck? Now I'm just a guy. I'm just a tiny little guy. I got a little home church in Washington State. I'm just in my office talking into to a microphone that's backed with cardboard and foam. What the heck would they care? But no, my government name was trending over there, and I was like, wow, they don't play. They don't play. The claws reach deep into everything, and man, I'm sorry. This has been consuming my thoughts and stuff, but you guys know what it's like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Outcast, what did I ask you last week about?
If we were trending in that little nation state.
Yeah, for some reason your microphone is way down. I don't know what it is, but yeah, Nelly, I asked Outcast last week that our name is probably going to be trending in these Google searches over there in a certain spot. And you're saying it right here this week, and we didn't even talk. Didn't even talk to you, but yeah.
And I'm a nobody. Yeah. I'm a nobody, Jesse.
Listen, we all have somebody. We are all somebody. We all have voices. See if you have anything there, Outcast.
Check.
It's there, but it's very, very low. Don't know why. Yep, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like that one night.
Maybe because we're trending.
Yeah, because we're trending. If you want to call in, I can mute this here. Keep your, keep that there, but your camera going, and you just call in on your phone. That might be the best way to do it. So, Nelly, listen, we've been dealing with this kind of stuff right here for this whole show. It's been nuts. It's been so long since we've had any type of interference like this on a show. Yeah, this is really bad. I thought I had worked all the technical glitches out, and for the most part, for well over a year and a half now, I think it's been fine. And here it is, all of a sudden tonight. It's wild. Throw it all in at once. Like I said, this is gonna be a nightmare for me to edit and throw together for tomorrow. But hey, it's all in good fun. I one thing I always tell people on the show here, and I think Outcast agrees with me too, is that there's a lot of things going on here, right? And there's just so much happening and it's all in real time. And I'm not buying any of it either way right now. I'm just sitting here. Look, my popcorn is hot. It's sitting back right here. See the popcorn? Popcorn is staying hot. Okay, it's staying hot, and it's going to stay hot because by the end of what year is it? 2029, January, we'll know. All right, January 20th is the inauguration.
Yeah.
All right, and we will know by then what was real, what wasn't real, and it's so very hard to say what. I gotta call you back. Who's right and who's wrong in this moment right now. And if there's, and I hate saying right and wrong, you know what I mean? Because that just does not sound right to me. It's almost like, Outcast, are you there? Do you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, that's better.
All right.
All right. We're doing this old school. We're doing this old school. So, do you know what I was saying on that, Nelly and Outcast? You know, by 2029, we'll be good. I mean, again, my popcorn is staying hot. I'm not jumping on either side right now, whatever. I'm letting it all play out. I'm not buying into any of it, the good or the bad. I'm just in sit back and watch mode. I'm putting all the files up here in my head, and it's like, all right, we'll know in 2025. We'll know whether any of this was, a plan that was supposed to happen, whether it is full compromise, whatever. At this point, I'll tell you what, I'm past all the stages, the grief, the anger, the whatever those stages are. I'm beyond
denial.
all that.
Yeah.
Denial. I'm beyond all that stuff now, and I'm so glad to be here on this side because my emotional level is not very invested politically anymore. It's switched. It's more into the spiritual realm now. And now when you're sitting here in the spiritual realm, I can look at all this stuff and just kind of smile and laugh and be like, what are all you knuckleheads doing now? I'm talking about the people on TV, the political parties, all this stuff. I'm just observing. Yes, thank you, Shelley Pollack. I'm in observation mode. And I'm watching it all hang out and play out. At the same time, I'm having more fun with the high strangeness in the business development and, doing things better for the family in future that way. And now I put all the political crap that I've been lied to all my life about that I thought I figured out one day. Now it's like I'm washing my hands of it. I'll keep an eye on it from time to time. And if this guy does something good, we'll know about it. If this guy does something bad, we'll know that too. But by 2029, January, his term is over. So popcorn's hot. It's butter. It's buttery. Outcast, go ahead.
Yeah, I think what we're looking at here is it gets challenging because the reason we feel such like a cognitive dissonance and a frustration over this particular story is it's the same reason we watch other people when we try to wake them up and red pill them and they freak out at the information. What happened to us was Trump was presented to us as some sort of a outlier. The media hated his guts. Everybody, attacked him, and he said all the right things. And when he had his first term, he delivered on everything that he campaigned on. And we were like, wow, this guy's legit. He doesn't need anybody's money. He's a billionaire. He's got good intentions. He wants to end the endless wars. He wants to turn things around the way it should be. Okay. But then this time around, he's a different person. And I'm reminded of a story that, a video that I saw, and I had a hard time finding it again, but it was a video where they broke down an interaction with Trump overseas in Saudi Arabia, I believe. And I don't want to sound racist by saying I can tell what race somebody is by what they look like, but it appeared to me like a little Jewish guy approached him and he pulled Trump in for a handshake and wouldn't let go. Now, we don't know what they were saying, but it was a show of authority over Trump. He was like holding Trump's hand. That's usually a Trump move. And Trump was trying to pull his arm away, and the guy was holding him in. And then the guy reaches in with his other hand into his lapel pocket and produces an envelope and gives it to Trump, and Trump's face drops. We can't see what's in the envelope. We can't hear what's being said. But the body language to me looked like he was right there on the spot being filmed as he's being informed that you are not your own person. And this little party that you've been running for a little while of change and hope and not to steal Obama's lines, but of changing things the way they should be and getting rid of the nonsense in the world, that's not what's going to happen because you're not your own person. We own you. I'm also skeptical that he's in the Epstein files. I keep hearing that even though his name is mentioned, they're not credible sources, that it was people trying to excoriate him and say negative things about him. But whenever the FBI went to go follow up, there was nothing there. I'm not saying there is or isn't. If he's in there, so be it. I want to know. If he's not in there, so be it. I want to know that too. Regardless of what it is, it's something. If it's one of his kids, if it's a loved one, something was in that envelope, in my humble opinion, that made him into a different person than what we're seeing right now, or that we saw the first time around. He's not behaving the same. He's going backwards on everything he said. He was going to be the no more wars president. He was going to, and he's the opposite of all that. He's jumping headlong into this, and it's obviously at the behest of Israel. And Netanyahu comes over here, and we watch every single senator bow down and standing ovation no matter what party line they're on. Nobody has the gall to sit down or to object. Everybody's fully on board. We are living in a crazy time where we can see with our own eyes in real time what a paper tiger our government is, how fake it is. Now, the good news is that we're Christians. Most people listen to the show. You three men, that's the blessing in this whole thing. We have God. One of our previous guests and friends, Sister Maria, always says, my identity is in Christ. Yes, I do lean conservative based on my Christian values, but at the end of the day, I'm a Christian. I am not a Republican or Democrat. For you, Nelly, and for anybody else in this process, what's happened to us is we've seen this crazy thing happen where everything we thought is not. We thought that somebody was actually going to stand up for change, and they're not. And they're not doing it. They are obviously controlled like everybody else. Now, what we're witnessing too is possibly that as the cabal is being exposed, they're showing their hand now, and they can't hide. They're actually just living out their agenda right before our very eyes, and we're waking up to it. I'm constantly reminded of Project Looking Glass, which is a whistleblower story where they had back in the 90s, I think the government had a quantum computer system, which is essentially AI that could predict future events based off of whatever they fed into it as possible scenarios. They could feed in pandemic, they could feed in UFO exposure, they could all this stuff, and no matter what they keyed in, the black hats within the government were panicked and dismayed because they could not stop the wake up. And that's what's happening to all of us right now, is we're waking up to this nonsense. We can see on full display how broken this system is. I'm a little afraid of this, though. Are we all being played at an exponential level by the controllers, the Masonics, whatever you want to call them, the Illuminati, whoever they are? What they're going to do is they're going to make us lose complete faith in all governments for here in perpetuity, and therefore the masses will give into an AI type antichrist system that's going to make all the decisions going forward because humanity is not capable because it's so corrupt.
The technocracy.
Are we being played? I don't know. That's a fear that I have. Sorry, guys. I just rambled. I said a lot. Hopefully there's some food for fodder there.
Oh, yeah. For sure, Outcast. That was good. Yeah, you're talking about the political transfer from politicians over to technocracy. That was the plan that they wanted back in the 1930s. They had the plans, but not the technology. Today, the technology is here. And Nelly, is BB still alive, in your opinion, or not?
I'm incredibly torn. I do believe that he was critically injured. I mean, his plane went up in the air. It circled around in place for 4 hours. I think that maybe they were stable. I mean, it was in the same spot doing circles for 4 hours straight, and then it beelined up to being rejected by every nation until it got all the way up to Germany. And he's either dead or in critical condition in Germany still. In my opinion, I could be wrong about that. The videos that they tried to release as signs of life had clear signs of artificial intelligence. I mean, from the sixth finger popping up to some of the issues with the hands in the pockets, the ring coming on and off in the second video where he's in that clearly fake coffee shop, mind you, that was already closed due to the conflict unfolding over there. So it's all a big show, but that's part of it too. Like constantly keeping us guessing. Even the way they released the files, the way that it was dumped on us wasn't so that justice could be found. It was to derail us. It was to get everyone at each other's throats some more, because now you got people, I thought this would open more people's eyes. There's some people that are actually doubling down on the left-right paradigm. There is actually some that are sinking in even further. And I'm like, don't you see how compromised? Look at the country and how it's been the last decade and how we disagree on every single point that you can possibly disagree on. But every single one of them puts on the little tiny hat, and they go before the wall. All of them. They don't agree on anything else, but they all agree on going and putting on the little hat and going and kissing the wall, or praying before. It's like that has nothing to do with us as Christians. That wall has nothing to do with us. But every single Democrat and Republican for as long as I've been alive has gone over there and paid homage, kissed the ring of that particular, again, little nation state, right? So Bibi in particular, here's the thing: if he's not alive, I don't think it matters. Even though he is a tyrant, even though he is a huge major instigator of the conflict currently, he has helped push some of the tyrannical things that they have done. I've even, man, I got to tell you, I broke down at my table the other night. I just had this moment because I had to repent before the Lord because. I was in denial about what was going on in the Middle East because, right, our greatest ally, and because, like, oh, God's chosen people, right, and you're not allowed to disagree with him on anything, anyhow, no way, no how, right, and one of the things that shocked that paradigm as well was when I see a Tomahawk missile land on a school, 100. I'm a man that's always wanted a daughter my whole life. I'll probably, unless God does conduct a miracle, I won't ever have children. So, but I've always wanted a daughter, right? And when I found out that it was one of our tomahawks that lands on this school and takes out 160 little girls, I just broke. And then in the breaking, I'm thinking I've been lied to so much in the last 10, 15 years, my whole life, but really in the last 10 to 15, the propaganda machine has had to kick up into high gear because of the internet. And it's helped the propaganda machine and it's hurt the propaganda machine, right? Because they can pump out stuff faster, but we can also pump out the truth faster, and they're constantly this battle between truth and lies going out through the internet, through shows like this. And so anyways, I like what was going on in Gaza, especially. Like I finally wrestled outside of cognitive dissonance. I stopped being in the denial of our greatest ally, and I looked at the parking lot that is Gaza. You see photos of what it was, and you see what it is now. And I repented to the Lord and said, God, I did not care about these people because I was convinced that I was supposed to be caring about the other people on the conflict that did it. And then I had to see a video of 5 IDF soldiers anally violating a Palestinian man inside of a tunnel, and it was caught on camera. And then all 5 men were acquitted by their government. And I was like, this is absolutely disgusting. I'm so, it's just been one thing after another after another. So I definitely have no doubt about my current trajectory, but it has been very painful because there are certain things that I'm grieving in real time, and some of those things that I'm grieving are past events, past injustices that I'm like, Lord, I was in denial about this. I even ran defense, for the other side. I went to bat for our greatest ally, and would not realize that it's that that British comedy. Are we the baddies? And I was like, have I been going to bat for the ones that are actually instigating this? And I know South Park is a vile show, right? But I used to watch it growing up, and there was this episode where the uncles or whatever take the boys hunting, and at any time they wanted to take something out, even if it was out of season or illegal to take it out, they'd be like, it's coming right for us, boom, and they were like, but it wasn't coming at us. Oh yeah, it was. Oh, it's coming right for us. And now it's like all you got to do is say, oh, it's a terrorist. Oh, it's Hamas, it's Hezbollah, and drop a tomahawk on it. And that's even scary too, because the data that we received that dropped that missile, dropped the tomahawk on that school, it was antiquated data, and it was fed to us by Trump's buddies in Palantir, feeding us bad intel, and we're bombing schools when the real target, which if it should have even been targeted is a whole other question, is down the block. But now we have a whole bunch of little girls and that are no longer with us. And I think of, as a man who wanted a daughter, I think about those fathers that would have loved to pick up their daughter from school that day and never did. And it made me sick it made me sick of my government. Even the hat that I'm wearing right now, I kind of wore it on purpose, not just because I haven't shaved, because Captain America is I love everything my country stands for on paper, but I hate everything she's become and what she's doing. I still love my country. I still love what it stands for. I still love everything it set out to do, even though she has strayed. Like the ideals behind it, I can still get on board for those. And like Captain America, he's like, I don't fight for Republicans or Democrats. I don't even fight for necessarily a particular flag. I fight for a certain set of ideals, and that resonates with me too. So I got this on for that purpose. It's like, I don't want to sound unpatriotic. I love my country. My father served this country. I would have had I not been such a stupid, hard-headed kid, but I'm glad I did. didn't, quite frankly, because I would have probably died in Iraq. But we were lied to about that, right? And that was what started my journey down the rabbit hole, was WMDs that Bush told me we had over there. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm now pushing 40, saying, where did we get that intel again? Oh shucks,
Yep. The
So,
same place,
sorry, that
brother.
yeah, that was my tirade. Another one for you. Sorry, I can go on and on.
It's all good, brother. It's good to get all this stuff out. Outcast, tap that mic, see if it's any good yet. Yep.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, good. That's good. I was feeling a little disconnected there with that phone. Man, Nelly, I'm going to tell you, I want to say something real quick here. I'm just off the cuff. God bless you for just being a true and honest Christian brother. You have gone the gambit in your thinking. Jesse and I have too. At the end of the day, you answer to Christ and you listen to your discernment. And you're not afraid to go back on things you believed before for the sake of godly truth. Okay. A lot of people can't do that. Their pride is too great. And you are doing that right now, live on the air for our listeners to hear. We love you. We appreciate you. And we thank you for that honesty. Jesse and I have been down this rabbit hole for maybe a little longer than you. I actually got turned on to who the Khazarian or Ashkenazi Jews were maybe 20, 25 years ago. Not 25 years ago now. I buried it for a long time. I was like, I don't want to, I don't want to think about this stuff. It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But what at the end of the day, what we have to face, and you might know this, but I'm just going to say it anyways in case you haven't heard it worded exactly like this. Even if we were going to observe a blood right to a land based on biblical genealogy, which, by the way, the New Testament doesn't say anything about that. Jesus brought a new covenant, voids the old. But even if we were going to play that game, the people living there are not the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and more importantly, Shem. They're not Semites. They are the descendants of Japheth's grandson, Ashkenaz. And they are imitating. Think about this. This is fascinating. The devil is the king of inversion, inverting truth. What he's managed to do to most of Americans and us in the past is led us to believe that these Semites that have blood right to the land can do whatever they want to take it back, because in the Old Testament they battled with the Horim, the Raphaim, the Hezekim, the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Zamzummim to take those lands. So we go, okay, good for you. You're David versus Goliath. But what if we find out that these Palestinian people are actually Shemitics, and the descendants of Japheth stole their birthright? That's not a new concept. That's a very old concept. Stealing somebody's birthright,
name changers,
and then using it as an excuse to obliterate an entire people. Now, just for the fun of it, I got to say this. I had this thought earlier today. My heart is in this whole conflict is leaning towards Iran, because they didn't ask for this, and they've been brought into this theater of war, and they're kicking butt. It's wild to watch. But at the end of the day, I have to check myself there too, because what we have is the Iranians are saying things like, "Oh, the Epstein regime is what they're calling us." Ooh, boy, does that sting, because it's true. Okay, that's a very true statement. If they want to call us the Epstein regime, I get it. I get the sentiment. But the religion of child marriages is mad at the religion of child sacrifice. Wait a minute.
Yep.
Whoa. So this evil's lesser than this evil? We're going to play the lesser than evil games? No. I pray you all find Jesus. Don't stop trying to draw us Christians into your Christ is stop trying to draw us into your fight. I pray you all find Jesus, but do not tell me that I have to pick a lesser of two evils. I have to pick either the baby eaters or the baby marriers. Get out of here. But
no, thank you.
I digress. Yeah, no, thank you.
Yep.
And we're constantly and the Illuminati is I hate to put a blanket term on it like that, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. The controllers are constantly giving us two crummy solutions with no common sense, common ground. Everything is either one extreme or the other. And we're being torn. And actually what we're doing is we're compromising our moral Christian morality for these hideous choices. Sorry, I'm on a tear. I don't know what got into me. I didn't even plan on saying this.
It's all good, brother.
Talking from the heart.
No, you're good.
we're being forced to compromise our Christianity and our belief system. See, but here's the problem. When people like Nelly and Jesse and myself and our listeners, when we truly find Jesus and we truly surrender our hearts and he starts to transform us from within and we become aligned with his heart and mind, what happens? We can see through this nonsense. And our friends on the left look like knuckleheads, and our friends on the right who are telling us, yeah, let's go turn those Arabs to glass. Yeah. They're all disgusting to me. Why? Because my thinking is because God's not political, and neither is my heart anymore. Am I making sense?
We've crossed to another line. We've crossed another level. Remember, it seems like a gradual stuff for this show anyway, and for many others that we've talked about in the past. Outcasts, a lot of people in their journey, they'll start with these podcasts and their Instagrams and all these things. Very patriotic. I'm the patriot. Not a big deal. I like that. Okay, patriot. Then they go to hard political. Then you get full of that. Then you're more on the spiritual realm, right? We're more in now we're just kind of looking at it, all that stuff like from above with our nose up in the air, like that one, that goofy meme, but I hate to make, a haste of it, but you know what I'm talking about? It's like you gradually come up, and for some people it takes a long time. Some people it happens very fast. It all depends on where we're at. We're all on a different journey, a different level. But I think at least we've what's the right word? We've taken the escalator up another notch, and we're looking down at these things and just kind of watching. Okay, what's above us? I don't know yet. We don't know yet. We'll be looking up there. We'll see when it comes down. But there's some things in our radar that's coming ahead, and now politics is down here for us. Okay. I hate to sound like this. I'm not being black-pilled. I don't think I sound black-pilled anymore. I'm just done with it. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense.
I get it. Yeah, you make total sense. Like I won't lie. Like a part of me, I was like, am I embracing the black pill? This hopelessness? Like, no. I feel like I can see clearer than ever. And that is that Christ said when being questioned by Pontius Pilate, he's like, and he tells him like, my kingdom is not of this world. His kingdom is not of this world, and so I'm done building other people's kingdoms. I'm going to build Christ's kingdom, and I'm thankful I didn't waste a lot of time getting too involved in politics in the grand scheme of things. I hate that I wasted any time in it, quite frankly, in retrospect.
Yeah, we all did, though.
I was doing I was doing the best I could with the information I had at the time. And here's the thing. I'll be 40 in 2 weeks, so I really want my country to do well. I want the world to be well. I do want to, be in the presence of Jesus. I want his kingdom to come, but I'm not in any rush for Armageddon, guys. I'm just being like, I want to be with Jesus for sure, but like eschatology, in my most recent episode, like 2 weeks ago, I didn't do one this last week because I got sick, but I was talking about, I've watched people within my theological spheres obsess over eschatology, obsess over little nation state in the Middle East. I've watched them to the degree that some of them like love to get behind projects like, oh, we got to build the third temple because the third temple is going to be the temple. We need a third temple in order for Jesus to come back. So I'm going to try and speed up the return of Jesus. And the New Testament only gives one thing that's going to speed up the return of Jesus. In Romans 11, it talks about the number of the Gentiles being fulfilled. It's like, go evangelize. That's it. Jesus didn't tell you, go fund a third temple. And even the idea of somebody wanting to fund the third temple, do you have any idea, depending on your eschatological bent, right? But eschatologically, those that have more of a dispensational view, if you want to help build that temple, I need you to like stop and think for a second what you're doing. Oh, I need to help get the temple built that I believe Antichrist is going to demand to be worshipped and commit the abomination of desolation. Do you just hear yourself? You sound like Judas saying, well, I need to make sure Jesus gets murdered without cause so I can bring about his kingdom. It's like, yeah, like what are we even talking about? Trying to force these things to happen or expedite God's timeline. You're not him. You're not on his level. And he didn't ask you to do that. You're helping this people group. And you had mentioned that the ones there right now, it may not even be the ones that are, but they certainly want this temple, right? Whether they're full, partial, or not at all, they certainly want that temple to be built, and they want to build it to blaspheme the name of our God in Christ, Jesus of Nazareth. And man, why would anybody want to sign up for that? And if it is destined to happen, then so let it be, but don't help it happen any more than Judas thought he could help bring about Christ's kingdom faster by forcing him to show his hand. He was called the son of perdition for a reason, in my opinion.
Yeah. You know,
Wow.
we had, that was awesome. I think you're really resonating with the chatters out there, Pastor Nelly. So we had this conversation a little bit ago, 2-3 weeks ago, maybe, Outcast. And I want to ask Nelly the same thing. Why dual citizenship in Congress? Now, Outcast, you said, very, what's the word? Very sarcastically, we were talking, right? Nelly, why don't our Congress people have dual citizenship with Uganda?
Oh, right. Because we know it's a conflict of interest.
Why don't they have dual citizenship with Italy?
Yeah.
Why not with Greenland, Mexico? Why don't our people in Congress have dual citizenship with Poland? Huh. There's only one country where all these people in Congress, all but 4, maybe 5, have dual citizenship with. And it was formed in 1948.
Yeah.
Why? What? Give me your best.
And they
your
visit,
best on
and
that.
how many of them go every other week?
All,
well,
right?
Sorry, I was already getting excited about it. And they're all going over there every other week. They're over there more than they're in some of their own districts, you know. And I think another moment, another I don't know what color the pill is, whether red pill. And it's on my show, so I was so embarrassed when I realized, you idiot, you were that. You were being presented with contrary information, and you didn't let it come in because it was going to rock your world too much. So, but then the files forced it to happen, and I'm glad that they did. And then I start opening up doors that I was afraid to walk through before because of their implications to my career, my social life, my friend circles. But now I don't care who wants to be my friend or not based on it. It's like, I got pastors I used to love them, I still love them in Christ, but they used to be people I admire, but now they talk about your view of Israel as though it's a litmus test for salvation. I was so disheartened, you know, when they start talking about, like, oh, if you don't support Israel, are you even saved, bro? And I was like, hold the phone. Since when does one's position on the current nation state of Israel have anything to do with their position in heaven? Well, God, Jesus was a Jew, so he would support the Jews. It's like, wait, hold the phone. Like, that's a whole other disastrous discussion to have, and you already alluded to why it's pretty erroneous to even discuss. But going back to this dual citizenship, how many of the 100? We only have 100 senators, and don't we have like 95 of them? 94 of them
in Congress,
receiving money by AIPAC.
There's 535 people in Congress, in the greater Congress.
Well, I was just talking about the Senate first. The Senate. There's only 100 senators, and we got like 90 some of those, and then 100 Congress people or hundreds of Congress people. We know a bunch of them are receiving, and it's going back to our boy JFK. You know, like, what did he suggest needed to happen? Who needed to register as a foreign lobby? And he said no. They can't. Or he said yes. They need to be a foreign lobby just like everyone else. And well, they weren't too fond of that, and they're the only ones that can get away with throwing, millions of dollars. Here's the thing: our politicians hate us. They're selling us out. They receive millions of dollars, and they make decisions that are within the best interest of over there, not what's within our best interest. What will best help us is what will best help those that are paying their bills. When I started doing the math as far as what we sent over there, again, that was another thing I was in denial about. It's like, oh, they're our greatest ally, and we need to defend, we need to protect them. It's like, well, but what are we getting out of that deal? At $3.8 billion a year since I was a child? And I mean, I did the math on that too. If you stacked up how much money we've sent since the 90s, it would reach reach space. It would be 8 miles of bills. That's how much I mean, 3.8 billion a year since I was a kid, and it would reach to space if you put it all in a single stack. I mean, that's how much we've sent. What could we have done for our country? What? And I'm no socialist. You guys know that. I'm as conservative as they get. But when we tell these lefties no social medicine, no, we're not going to have UBI or anything like that. And again, I'm not condoning those things, but when you look at how much money we've been blowing in the Middle East, it's like, well,
Yep.
imagine if that would have helped. How many single moms could be helped with that? How many of our aging, elderly, family members? It's like, well, I'd like to have Social Security one day, and right now, if we keep spending the way we are, there's not going to be anything there by the time I'm old enough to take it. So it's like I have no future. Because so as much as I'm with you as far as having this new sense of peace, I am still kind of torn because the outlook for our country is really bleak right now if things continue on their current trajectory. And if one aligns to a dispensational worldview, eschatologically, well, America is nowhere mentioned in the end times, and I used to wonder how that could be. Many theologians of that bent have wondered, well, why is the most powerful nation in history not in end times? Well, perhaps it's because we were chewed up and spit out. We were used and abused by our greatest ally, and when we lost our usefulness, or when we had enough of the third world imported into our country that then demoralized us and destabilized us, then that we were no longer a threat. And all they got to do is destroy the petrodollar, and that's very much very much on the brink of that being a possibility, especially with the Strait of Hormuz the way that it is. If everyone says we're tired of America being the bully on the playground, and they say, we're going to use the Chinese yuan instead of the petrodollar. If enough nations decided we're done with the petrodollar system because we're tired of Trump, we're tired of America being the global enforcer, if that were to happen, we're cooked, gentlemen. And it will drastically change what we're used to as far as quality of life here. And I'm afraid about that. I'm not going to lie. My hope is in God. My hope is in heaven. He promised me an easy life, and I love my comfort. So I'm not looking forward to suffer. But I don't see. I'm having a real hard time having, as far as like any earthly hope. But I mean, the Bible never told me to have that. So, sorry, the dual citizenship. My citizenship's in heaven. I don't have dual citizenship. Mine is in heaven.
There you go, brother. I like it. I like that you're fired up the way you are right now. Outcast, we've been through this, and it's comforting in a strange way to see other people come through it. And it sucks, but we have to get through it, right? We have to get through it. And once you're through it on the other side, yeah, you can take a minute to laugh at it because like you said, Nelly, our citizenship, no, ours, at least it's somewhere else. It has nothing to do with what's going on down here within these borders, right? It's in a completely different realm. That's where our citizenship is going to end. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying this. Enjoyment might be the wrong word, but I'm really into the theater of the whole thing now. Okay? And I'm ready for this plot to take another shift and go this way. Maybe it's going to go this way. We don't know which way this plot's going to go. But again, I'm just, for now, I'm holding on that January 2029 to know at that point, we will know a lot more than we do right now. Heck, we'll know more stuff, in a month from now. Maybe we'll be more confused by then. But by 29th of January, if we get to it intact, yeah, we'll know a lot by then. Outcast, go ahead.
I just thinking out loud. One of my customers told me that she listens to police scanners, which I think is a funny hobby. But anyways, she said that 75% of all calls that the police are answering to right now are mental health checks. And what we're really facing here as Christians is the people who are not grounded in Christ are going to have a really hard time watching this unravel. For those of us who are grounded in our faith, God's going to be using us to help pull them out of the darkness and into the light. So we have to focus on what our mission here is. If Ephesians, I love Ephesians 1:4 and 5, for he chose us in him before the foundation of the earth was laid to be holy and blameless in his sight. In love, he predestined us into sonship uh, through Jesus Christ in accordance with his good and perfect will, or something to that effect. My greater point here is that we were sent here to have a temporary human experience at this time. We were chosen to be here at this time by God Almighty, by Jesus Christ. So as we watch everybody's, God has to help us feel it. We have to feel what other people are going to be feeling so we can have proper empathy. So what Nelly's going through, what we've been through, we're going to understand when people are coming to us going, what is going on, right? And it's our mission, and this show has done it to an extent. We've lived out our mission here. And Nelly's show, you're in the position to do the same thing if you haven't already. We're going to take the people looking for the weird stuff, conspiracies or whatever, and we're going to lead them to Jesus. That's what this is about at the end of the day. This is going to have to be about taking, when people meet the end of themselves, if it's mental breakdown, whatever it is, that's where they meet Jesus. That's where they become open to him, to the idea of surrendering to him, right? Throwing their hands in the air and saying, I give up. I can't do this on my own. That's an opportunity for Jesus. We're surrounded in a lukewarm Laodicean culture that people do not understand how important and how close this battle is, and how the end times are fastly approaching. Whether you die in your sleep or Jesus comes tomorrow, the end is near. It's at hand. And we're going to watch society spiral as this thing unravels. We have a tremendous opportunity within our ministry, whether it's on a personal level or on a podcast or at a church or whatever your ministry is, where God's called you to, whether you're a pinky or a big toe, whatever you are in the body of Christ, you have a tremendous opportunity to draw people out of the darkness and take and get them to surrender their hearts to Jesus, or show them how, or lead them to that direction. We can't make that happen. That's got to happen from the heart. It's not a manufactured thing, but we can plant and water seeds while we're here, because it's getting wild fast. We can see it. There's no president coming to save us that we can see. That's not happening. There's no plan that I'm having a hard time believing the plan. I mean, maybe there is, and maybe the wool's over my eyes, but from where I'm standing right now, I'm not so certain that the plan is happening the way it's supposed to. But God is always at the ready to welcome anybody in who's met the end of themselves. And I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here, guys. That's where I'm going with this. And Nelly, I want to tell you something. God bless you, man, because you're always rapid fire facts and articulation on a very high level. God has you right where he wants you. And we had no idea that this conversation was even going to go this route when we asked you to come on today. God just told me to invite you on. I didn't know we were going to be talking about this. And I'm just grateful to have you as a brother in Christ under any circumstances, but I'm really happy to know that you're seeing things how we're seeing them too. And we support you in that. Man, I don't know, just this was meant to happen. I think that's why we're having all the technical glitches. I think the devil does not want this message going out because we're talking too much sense here.
Neither does Israel. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, amen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that list you're talking about is creepy as all get out.
Yeah.
That amen.
That list you're talking about.
Yeah, that's that Google search. Searching your names, and it's true. It works. It happens.
I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it yet. I don't want to know.
All right.
I did it at 3 a.m. It was very. I did it at 3 a.m. So it was an influencer I follow on social media who talks about similar things as us, and not from a Christian perspective, but discusses them. And yeah, he wasn't talking to me directly, but saying, hey, if you talk about these things publicly, he says, give this a shot. And I said, there's no way. Like I said, I'm a nobody. I'm just hanging out in my office, and I've just pastored a tiny church. I got a tiny podcast. It's nothing to write home about, right? And so I tried it though at 3 a.m. because I was doom scrolling on my phone. I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about World War III unfolding. So I do it. I give it a shot, and my jaw dropped through the bed. I mean, I'm laying there on my bed on my elbows, and my jaw drops, and I saw my government name trending, and I said, "This is very interesting, very, very interesting." They certainly, if those trying to convince me that there isn't any influence, what is it? 1984 said, "Don't believe the party." Don't believe your lying eyes, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
I've seen it. I've
Man,
seen things now. I saw things in those files. I've seen things, online, and even historical documents, questioning certain things historically. That's a whole other topic that can get you in a lot of trouble. And
Yep.
oh my gosh, again, Neo in the Matrix, first two, two acts of that movie, just or like Bambi, we just kind of wobbling around some of it, and it's a little messy at first too, but. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate you guys coming on, having me come on. When I was working on that episode, the one that said I'm done, I was thinking about you guys. I think about you guys often, but you guys were really heavy on my heart, and I knew we had differences in certain views, and I would have avoided certain topics before because of that, because it would have violated my you're like, oh no, no, I won't let you speak ill of my greatest ally. And I'm like, you read through those files and you find out how they really feel about us too. That was also very, very interesting. So proud Goyim here, and
Brother Goyim.
I appreciate you guys. Proud Goyim, and I'm grateful for you guys. I thank you for letting me, crash the party today. And I do think it
Yeah.
was, it was a blessing to me. I'm glad we were able to make it happen. And I again, the kind words, Outcast, thank you. I really appreciate it, because it had, I don't feel like a hero, but I've been humbled. I've been very, very humbled. The last 5 years of living up here in Washington and trying to pastor up here, and trying to get this podcast off the ground, just incredibly humbling, the things that I've gone through personally and professionally. And but I think the Lord had to do all those things, and then it's like, okay, well, we're not done yet. Oh man, really, Lord? Can I come up for some air? Nope, we don't have time. There's work to
No,
be done. We don't
no
have
air.
time.
Yep.
Nope. There's too much work to do still. So, but that's what I'm here to do, is I'm here to work, and I'm going to use my, my tiny little platforms. And if the Lord elevates them, great. If not, I'm going to keep shouting into the void with you lovely gentlemen, and let the Lord do with it whatever he will.
Yeah. Awesome, brother. Outcast, you have any final words, or did you already say them for Nelly?
I kind of said them, but I kind of said them, but man, we're just being refined in the fire. And I think you're right, Nelly. I think that, even though it feels like we just need a chance to come up for air, God, like you said, I think that's really well said. He's like, nope, I got work to do, and I need an elite force of Navy SEALs. I don't need you soft. So I'm going to keep you on your toes.
Amen.
I'm going to keep you humble. I'm going to keep you under the pressure that makes diamonds. I'm going to push on you a little bit. But what that does to us is gives us that sharpness of thought that helps us to speak to those people who are lost in the mire, to speak with grace, seasoned with salt, to draw them into the family, is what our goal is here. It really is, at the end of the day. But yeah, everything else, the whole world has been a big disappointment. But that's kind of, for some reason, God puts you in my heart frequently. I know we don't talk all the time, but I think of you a lot. And I just, from the time you've been on our show, all my true Christian brothers out there, whenever I think of them, and sisters, I just get this feeling of love in my heart. That's hard to explain. Did I lock up, Jesse?
No, keep going. Try to finish.
Okay. So I was just going to say, and you're on that list, Nelly, when I think about you and all my real deal Christian brothers and sisters out there, there's a special kind of feeling of love I have, and you're on that list. So God bless you. Let's stay in touch. Let's have you on more often. And thank you for your honesty, amen, and your humility to say, hey, I was wrong about this topic, and I'm seeing things differently. And you know what? And Nelly, we're going to give you this grace, and we ask the same in return. We may change our minds again, but we're trying to listen to what God's telling us. That's, at the end of the day, that's the mission here. But it doesn't mean that we pick a party line like it's a family sports team that we're going to support to the end of our days. Jesus is the only thing, and everything else here is temporal, and we're looking and we're analyzing as we go, and we're seeking God's wisdom in the process. So God bless you, brother. Thank you for coming on in such short notice. It was meant to be today.
Amen. Thank you for letting me. Love you guys, man.
Hey, Nelly, before you go, I just want to say thank you again, brother. And, I'm so excited, so glad to see you make this you're coming through some growing pains. Again, we've been there. We have many more growing pains to come. Okay. We're all in, again, separate journeys, but it's great to see you come through this thing and be so cheerful and so happy and so confident in the man you are. Okay. That's so very important, that to know that you are definitely blessed in the battle that you're going through. stay the course, brother. It is so great to see that. I want to say just 3-4 months ago, I'm seeing a different side of you now. I love it. Yeah. It's awesome. Okay. I love it. I mean, we're in contact behind the scenes and all these things, and we see each other's social medias and all these things. So, I'm really, I don't know, man. It's just, I'm glad that this worked out tonight, that you're here. Outcast, I already had all the stuff set up for tonight's show and the topics. And I said, if we can fit them in, if you have the time, we're going to bring you in as a surprise guest. And man, am I glad that you did, have time for us and, in a pinch. So, we're going to have to schedule an official Pastor Nelly part 2 coming back on, or it's going to be part 3.
You got
it. I want you to go, before you go, tell everybody where they can find you. You guys, he has a great, podcast. You might have more than one now. Nelly, you've been working on so much stuff, but tell the people where they can find you, listen to your show and everything.
Well, the Dancing Toaster podcast is the name of the show. It's a Ghostbusters reference. I'm on Spotify, Apple, everywhere podcasts can be found. The backlog is slowly being put up onto YouTube and Rumble. I got to convert them. I'm working on some video projects as well. I'll scoop up the hardware for 2026 and got some folks working on some videos, trying to get out of purely doing audio, but it's a highly scripted, highly edited show, so it makes it video a little more challenging, but I'm working on it. We cover, the intersection of faith and the unexplained on the show. Right now I'm going through the history of magic in different parts of the world, different times of the world. I do believe in the supernatural power. The Bible believes in it. The Bible warns about it, not because it's not real, but because it is. But we are to rely on power from God and not power. We got a bunch of people, and what's so funny is people think, oh, magic's silly, nobody believes in that. And it's like, no, the people on the list believe in that supernatural power, and they're doing all kinds of rituals to try and tap into it. So to say it's nonsense, is quite the contrary. But I got it's only one show, but I have like three types of things that I do on there. The Dancing Toaster episodes are typically just paranormal topics. The Man-Eating Toaster is cult and true crime stuff, and the Toaster Talk is something I just started doing recently, which is unscripted. Just I had to get some things off my chest, and I don't know how frequently I'll do them. I actually got another one coming tomorrow, because I got my surrogate son, a dear friend of mine. I've known him since he was 10, because I was his teacher in school. I was his teacher, then I was his youth pastor, and he's grown up to be an awesome man of God. And he said, "Hey, I'm coming up to Washington. Love to see you." And I said, "I'd love to have you." So we did a special little episode as well that I can't wait for people to hear. And so I won't ramble on anymore, but you can find me at wherever podcasts are found. I got a Patreon, growing Patreon community, and I'm working on some fiction work that I'm trying to get up on there. It's way backed up because there's just I got poker in too many fires, but I love to create. I love the Lord. I love you guys, and I appreciate you getting me in so short notice and allowing me to unburden myself of some things, and loving me despite my faults and flaws. And I look forward to staying in contact with you guys and doing some more stuff.
For sure. Well, we'll be in contact with you, brother, for sure. We'll come up with some plans. We will definitely brainstorm. Great to have you on again. Pastor Nelly, everybody, the Dancing Toaster podcast. Go check him out. Shalom, brother. We'll see you. Have a good night.
God bless you.
Shalom.
All right. Stay dangerous.
Bye.
All right. Oh, look at that, Outcast. Pastor Nelly again. That is so awesome.
Dude, that turned out to be straight fire. That was I had no idea what we were going to talk about when I invited him on. I just knew that his heart was heavy with something. I could just tell in the light amount of communication that we had. I knew something was up, and lo and behold, he's right on target with.
It's out to me. Yep. Last minute like that with Pastor Nelly. It's out to me.
Yep.
Last minute like that with Pastor Nelly, and able to squeeze him in. I was able to get that email to him, so we got the link. And it worked out just right. Yeah. Are we down? Are we out? Yeah.
No, just Music Lover says, no wonder the enemy wanted to shut it down.
Yeah. No, for sure. There it is right there. Well, listen, we didn't know what we were going to talk about. I mean, we had a plan, agenda. But as far as Nelly comes on, hey, I like these kind of talks because it's again, it's not scripted. It's from the heart, but it's out of these true learning life experiences and things that we're going through, right? It's more of a, I don't know, is this more of if lifestyle show is doesn't quite fit? Do you know what I'm saying? It's something. It just, I don't know, man. I'm having a good time just like the rest of everybody else here is what I'm saying. Okay, so
Same.
yeah, if you got any final thoughts, we'll do that right now and then head on out because I want to get this done before we get clipped again.
No, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I've said a lot tonight, and I think that technically we're on thin ice here. So let's just wrap this up.
Yeah, I do too, brother. So, yeah, it's wild what's happening tonight. So I appreciate everybody who stuck around with us. It's been wild is what I'm saying, Outcast. It's been nuts tonight. So, thanks, Pastor Nelly. Go check him out over on the Dancing Toaster podcast. Do it tonight. All right. I've got some 3 a.m. stories, some midnight encounter stuff that we couldn't get to tonight, but that's okay. We can hold it. Next week, we have Carla Wagner. All right. If you guys like what you heard and you want to keep the show going, please support us by any of the links that you can down there. And if you can't support right now, at least you can tell your friends about us. Share us. We're trying to grow this YouTube thing. I think we have a future on YouTube as long as we kind of wiggle around a little bit like we have to. But, man, what a great night tonight, you guys. We had an excellent night with you guys. Music Lover says, hey, have a great night. Yes, we will. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review over on iTunes, CastBox, Spotify, and all those things that we listen to because we're looking for more excellent people just like yourselves, all right? Again, thanks to you, Outcast, for being out here, all the chatters. Thank you guys so much. Music Lover, Jack Pine Savage, Ms. Melody, Trusty Turnip over here, Valhalla. I've seen so many people on pill.net come and go, but what a wild ride tonight. Yes, God bless you all. iPark 2003, yes. Thank you so much. I'm going to release the scratching, and you guys go enjoy that. Thank you again to, who was that, Sandy, that dropped us the cookies tonight over on pill.net. Thank you so much. I'm looking for any Rumble rants. I don't see them, but I understand what you're saying. Listen, join us live here every Monday night, all right? Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern is what we're talking about. So thank you guys so much. I got a frog in my throat, Outcast. Do not be threatened by the mainstream media fear campaigns. Rescue those in darkness around you. And do not comply with unjust laws, mandates, or regulations. Trust your gut always because that's God talking to you. Yes, you guys, you know what I'm saying. God bless, brothers and sisters. Stay dangerous.